New at 11.
Oh, you're full of crap, lady.
Emotions flare and a sea of boos as a chief under fire in Southeast Bullitt County makes an unannounced appearance. City-owned buildings locked up and taped up as questions swirl over a tight-lipped investigation in West Butyl. Plus, the first of its kind, a historic night at the KFC Yum Center. Wave 3 News at 11 starts right now.
With breaking news happening now, this is Wave 3 News.
And that breaking news we're following tonight, a plane has crashed in western Kentucky, killing 4 people. It appears the only survivor is a child. This happened in Lyon County, Kentucky, and Eddyville. That's in far western Kentucky. Kentucky State Police responding there. We have a look at the scene. It's a heavily wooded area, but a caller to 911 reports a 7-year-old walked to their door saying she had been involved in a plane crash. That child's been taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and we've since learned that the plane was headed to Illinois from Florida when it went down in western Kentucky. At this point, not sure why it went down, but we will bring you more information as we get it on wave3.com and Wave 3 News Sunrise. And we thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Shannon Cogan. Scott is off. A drama-filled meeting for Southeast Bullitt County's Fire Board. Boos, yells, one member walks out, and the defiant chief trying to cancel the meeting itself. The fire department's future in limbo as the chief is investigated for fraud. Wave 3 News reporter Natalia Martinez was at that meeting tonight. She joins us live from the newsroom. Natalia, firefighters are uncertain of their future.
Yes, Shannon, they don't know for sure if they will continue serving Bullitt County. They have to wait for other departments to bid and then the board to decide.
I'm going to tell every one of you right now, you don't own the thing. You don't own the blade of grass. This corporation owns it. We're trying to get it back to the taxpayers.
The drama at a special meeting called by the Bullitt County Fire District begins even before the meeting itself. A defiant and embattled fire chief joins in.
And he's withdrawing his resignation.
Now, this is all BS. We can't have a meeting with people like that on board.
Chief Julius Hatfield opened the meeting, confirming he is staying on the board. And then he tried to cancel the meeting.
All in favor of moving on to the meeting?
The chief is under investigation for fraud and under fire for using a racial slur.
I'm not defending his speech. I'm defending the financial accusations that have been made against him.
The board voted to take back the authority to run the department's books from a corporation run by Hatfield. The board will also have to decide if the current fire department will get to stay or if another fire department will take over. The board was required to stick to the agenda, which did not include discussing the chief's future. Questions regarding the investigation prompted this.
Oh, you're full of crap, lady.
Firefighters asked about their jobs, but felt they didn't get answers. The chief wouldn't provide us any answers either. What do you have to say to the firefighters who are nervous about their jobs? Are they going to remain? The board will decide whether the Bullitt County Fire Department will continue to serve at another meeting scheduled for February 9th at 6:30 in the evening. In the newsroom, Natalia Martinez, Wave 3 News.
And now new at 11 tonight, 2 familiar faces in Metro government arrested for public intoxication. Louisville Metro's Chief Financial Officer Stephen Rowland and Metro Council's Democratic Caucus Chair Elizabeth Hoffman both taken into custody tonight. The two arrested on public intoxication and disorderly conduct charges at El Nopal on Zorn Avenue. Documents allege the two were asked to leave the restaurant due to heavy intoxication and provocative behavior. When approached by officers in the parking lot, responders determined they were in no shape to drive. Mayor Greg Fisher released a statement about Rowland that says Steve Rowland's behavior tonight is very out of character for the man I know. These actions are not consistent with the exemplary work he has done for the city. I am deeply disappointed. The scene in West Butyl this morning, city storage buildings sealed off under guard with little explanation. The new mayor there, Rick Richards, took office just yesterday and ordered the buildings sealed about 10 o'clock last night. He tells us the request to shut the buildings down came from an elected official in Frankfort, but would not say specifically who or why.
What is going on?
There's an investigation, which, you know, as you all know, I can't discuss the issues of the investigation right now because there's an investigation going on.
Even West Butro's Police Chief Gary Sharp said he did not know why they were guarding this place. Former Mayor Sharon Fowler says she has no idea what they would want out of these buildings. Around 2 o'clock, a locksmith came, changed the locks. Neither the Kentucky Attorney General's office nor State Auditor's office responded to phone calls seeking comment. A suspected serial rapist caught in Louisville thanks to a victim's description of his van. Antoine Tinker was arrested, accused of 4 different rapes. New details from LMPD today indicating he had targeted women based on their lifestyles. Almost all of the incidents happened close to Churchill Downs, and every reported rape allegedly inside his van. Not only was his location consistent, but his style of approach too. Never forceful, but deceptive.
The victims would be lured into a sense of, everything was okay, and they'd be invited into the van.
And police believe more victims are out there. They encourage them to come forward. An ex-boyfriend now charged in the death of a Windy Hills woman. It happened on Indian Ridge Road. Grandmother of 6, Christine Fisher, 55 years old and now gone. 2 of her grandchildren were actually in the house when the murder happened. Heard the gunshots and called police, and today police arrested this man, her ex-boyfriend, 53-year-old William Crockett. Police say Fisher broke off the relationship about a week ago. Indiana State Police arrested him near his home in Sellersburg and found 4 handguns in his car. Fisher's family describes her as a woman with a heart of gold, and her ex is never setting off any red flags.
If you ask anybody, she always had a smile on her face and just tried to teach us to be the best that we could be and to see the good in everyone, because that's what she did. She saw the good in everyone.
Seemed very normal, very normal. Worked a lot at a trucking company and introduced himself to me once.
Crockett is charged with murder and possession of a firearm without a license. That homicide, the first in the metro of 2015. According to LMPD, 54 criminal homicides in the metro in 2014, and that is up from 48 in 2013. In 2012, though, it was 62. In 2011, 50. We asked an official with LMPD about the increase from the year before.
The numbers were up, but if you look at it consecutively over several years, you have other years where we've been as high as in the 70s. So when you take a look at it in its full perspective, it's not that out of the ordinary.
And if you're interested in seeing what crimes are happening in the area where you live, LMPD released a new tool today. It's an interactive map, and you can zoom in on a micro level. If you'd like to check this out, we have a link for it on wave3.com. It's not going to be the best weekend for outdoors activities. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett is here. And Kevin, you told us to expect a lot of rain, but tomorrow we might be pleased with the temperature.
Well, it's give and take a little there, Shannon. We're going up close to 60 for tomorrow's high, but the rain is already pushing across part of the area. More is going to make its way into Kentuckiana later on tonight and tomorrow, too. A 38-degree temperature in Louisville. We've held steady throughout the evening hours. The radar view pointing out the bulk of that rain to our north, moving northbound, but plenty of it to our south and west. That's going to stream up in here, especially throughout the day on Saturday. So kind of a soggy first part of the weekend, even though temperatures will be delightful back in the upper 50s to low 60s. How long that rain will last, and not one but 2 cool downs, big cool downs in the forecast, Shannon. We'll talk about how low will go in the 7-day forecast ahead.
All right, Kevin, an update tonight to a story we brought you at 5. Friends and family now pitching in to help the family who lost a high schooler to meningitis this week. Cole Hahn of Clark County, Kentucky, suffered from meningitis once before when he was just 10. It's a rare disease to battle once, let alone twice. The 16-year-old died Tuesday at UK Hospital, even though friends say his mother was able to catch it early this second time. That friend now starting a GoFundMe account to try and raise $7,000 to help the family, still paying off medical bills from Hahn's first fight with meningitis. She remembers Hahn as a straight-A student and soccer player.
I think Cole would, he would want to be remembered as a kid that loved and prayed for other people.
And in just 48 hours, the Han Grief Relief Fund has raised more than $4,000 and is now up to almost $6,000. We have a link to it on our website, wave3.com. As winter break comes to a close, JCPS and other districts are now scrambling to brace for the flu. The virus now at epidemic levels. And even if you did get the flu shot, there's another strain that's out there, so you may not be protected. Schools have used the time that kids were out on break to sanitize and deodorize germ hotspots, but officials and doctors are worried children will show up to school sick anyway and then start the process over.
We had several students out right before Christmas break, and so I have a feeling.
It's been pretty crazy. I worked at our slowest clinic last week where we would usually see 30 patients, and I saw 67 patients.
Yeah, a lot of people sick. Doctors say you should still get the flu shot if you have not gotten it already because it can help minimize the symptoms. Also, don't push yourself back to full strength too quickly. But as long as you've been fever-free for 24 hours, you're considered non-contagious and you can return to work or school. And pharmacy Walgreens keeps tabs on the number of people filling flu prescriptions at their stores across the country. And the goal is to try and show which parts of the country are experiencing the most flu cases. This is really interesting. Their weekly ranking put Kentucky near the top for states with flu activity. Look at that. Kentucky coming in at number 2 this week. Mississippi number 1, Tennessee 3, followed by Texas and then Alabama. 2 of the 4 people in my house had the flu. A historic night at the KFC Yum Center. Not only was it the first ever ACC basketball game played inside, but also former Lieutenant Governor Jerry Abramson received a special honor before he's heading to his new job at the White House. A big job. Wave 3 News reporter Connie Leonard joins us now with more. And Connie, it's Abramson's last home game for a while, I guess.
Yeah, Shannon, you're right. 2015 is going to be a busy year for Abramson. He was home for the holidays, and he's going back. But before he does, he wanted to make sure he was at this first ACC basketball game here at the Yum Center, and the university wanted to let him know he's appreciated. ACC history inside the KFC Yum Center, and it's ladies first.
It's going to be huge. Hopefully there's usually a big crowd, but hopefully there's a huge crowd.
A great crowd on hand to see Jeff Walz and the U of L women play in the Cards' first ever Atlantic Coast Conference basketball game hosting Georgia Tech. The ACC premiere included a big thank you to a longtime supporter, a man on his way out of the Ville for a while. Former Lieutenant Governor and Louisville Mayor for life, Jerry Abramson, leaves for Washington this weekend as Deputy Assistant to President Obama and Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, a liaison to the nation's mayors and governors. He and wife Madeline have worked for years encouraging fans to get behind the women.
We're really surprised. My wife and I have had season tickets at the court side of the women's games for the last 10, 11 years. And they surprised me here in town with a jersey that has the number 25, the 21 years I was mayor and the 4 years as lieutenant governor. I'll take it back to the White House, put it up on my wall.
After leaving the Big East and floating for 1 year in the American Athletic Conference, fans are happy to be in the ACC.
Now we are back to having huge opponents every week.
The fact that North Carolina will be here and Duke will be here and North Carolina State and Miami, I mean, all the great teams will be coming through Louisville. It's exciting for the women, it's exciting for the men in all our sports.
And besides the ACC, women's season ticket holders say crowds have picked up dramatically because it's great fun and inexpensive for families. This team knows how to treat fans.
They treat my kids wonderful. They stay and sign autographs, very friendly.
And a big win for the Cards tonight, 75-48 over Georgia Tech. The former mayor and former lieutenant governor says even though he won't be here, his wife Madeline and son Sid will be courtside for him. And by the way, the men play in their first ACC game Sunday night, 8 o'clock. It's on ESPNU as they take on Wake Forest. Reporting live from the KFC Yum Center, Connie Leonard, Wave 3 News.
Up next, a professor's goal to run a marathon every day. The resolution that also serves as an experiment. You're watching Wave 3 News at 11, where we're always streaming on our mobile app.
streaming live on mobile. This is Wave 3 News at 11.